Crypto's juiciest news, baby dolls. I bring you the most critical breaking news of all. The Stonk Market Index, the S&P 500, has just moments ago closed a new all-time high. We're going to spin the helicopter hat, not once, not twice, but thrice. This is exactly what we need for the crypto market to pump, friends. I'm going to cover it for you right now. This is absolutely insane that we can see it. This is the S&P 500. This is the daily close up here. The stock market making a new high. If you remember from my past few Juicy News episodes, I've been covering this for you. The market, after this FOMC decision, it's digesting the news. Everyone looks around. They're looking at purchasing orders by managing indexes. They're looking at estimates of jobs and GDP, any forward-looking surveys that they can look at, and they're trying to compute if the economy is going to crack hard. And right now, as each day passes, as each week passes, there is no crack that is significantly strong enough to justify fear and uncertainty and a big capitulation. So that's what the market does, friends. It prices things in. So if you're sitting on the sidelines and you're waiting for jobs data in the next 3 months to show that, you know what, it's a bit crazy, it's not that bad. Okay, if you're waiting for that moment, you might have missed the next plus 55% move of Bitcoin, which is now $63,000. It might be 95,000 by that point. So as you can see, friends, in markets, there is no free lunch. If you want to buy low, there is always a good, compelling narrative to tell you why that thing is down today. You can always find the reason why. There's always a reason why. But the answer that you're looking for is, okay, if the price is cheap today, does it have to be this cheap for the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? And if it doesn't stay this cheap, okay, if it gets even more cheaper, how much cheaper and for how long? So what you're trying to do is you're trying to compute risk and reward here. So as we move throughout the cycle, we're going to see more of this play out. Now, I'm going to go back to our chart here from Jimmy Boy Kramer. Remember on the daily chart here, friends, Bitcoin is now pushed up. It actually touched $63,500. It's actually nice to see this emphatic push back up. A lot of people still have this, friends. I mean, we saw this the whole time. People had this, and then this, and then this, and this, and now a lot of people still have this. People still believe this. So it would be literally the finisher move. The finisher move to kill one of the last remaining bears of this period momentarily until we get more bears later on would be up here. And then you have a whole new world of problems up here. I can almost guarantee you, friends, I literally see it in my mind. Bitcoin going towards this 100 up here. I can just see it. And I can see when it has this scare down, everyone goes, uh-oh, cycle's topped. Cycle's topped. Bitcoin hit 100K. Your dreams are here. I can already see it in my mind. I can see these soy boy virgins who will appear on Twitter, and they're probably going to make all these essays about why you are a gambler if you're holding now. Bitcoin finally hit 100K. We already have a spot ETF. What are you waiting for? You're too greedy. You're going to hear that. Now, here's the thing. They're going to be right in principle, but they're not going to be right on time. Okay, I have been dreaming of this moment since 2019, friends, 2018, 2019, when I first came into crypto, and I was dreaming about this 100K Bitcoin mark, and I told all my friends and family, for the love of God, don't sell at 100K. It's going to be the biggest retailer trap. There's one thing I know about markets. It's the first big round number. That's where traders take profit. But actually what ends up happening, friends, it always shocks you. Now, here's the thing. Of course, it can go up and go down or whatever, but it's good that we're even thinking about this moment more, because it's easier said than done. If Bitcoin goes to, if I do this, friends, if I just show you, Bitcoin goes up to 100, right? Bitcoin hits 100K, there will be media attention like you've never seen before. And then people are going to be throwing out, hey, Sommi, what about your dark prophecy? What about all of these? Look, my dark prophecy and all of these, my dark prophecy, friends, I'm play some pump music for it, so it doesn't happen. The dark prophecy, it's just to warn us it can happen. It's not just the price by itself. Because you've seen, friends, right now, did you ever imagine in your life, remember, friends, let's actually go back down. I don't even have to imagine. Dude, we were literally, friends, do you remember Bitcoin, man? It was literally down here. Everyone was dead. Could you have ever imagined at 17,000 that people would be bearish as hell at 52,000? You think there's no way? Oh, man, friends, you're all down here. I'm just letting you know. So this is also a message for the Hexicans and PulseChain as well. When the price is so low, you're thinking about, everyone's going to take profit and dump on you as soon as it goes up. Dude, we were here, friends. I'm not joking. When Bitcoin was 15,000, I promised you. Do you want to know what everyone who was still around was saying? They said, if this thing ever gets back to 25 or 30K, I'm all out. I'm done with this stupid godforsaken industry. I promise you, they were all saying that with conviction. That's how I know, friends, when we kept going up, there was a disbelief rally. This was a disbelief rally. This was a disbelief rally. I remember even Eric Wall said he wasn't even allocated. So I have a good read on these, but only not because I'm like special, just he 18 hours a day, right? So if you ask me to have a good read on somebody's heart, like funding Jim Gary, right, I would have absolutely no expertise there because I'm not there 18 hours a day. Now, baby dolls, what I'm going to do is quickly show you the weekly super trend. See, it's still green, friends. It never turned us bearish. So, man, you used to saw it, man. Do you remember how depressed I was when we flipped red? Oh, my God. When we were down here. When we were down here, friends, it actually flipped red. It hadn't closed on the week. And I was like, oh, boy. See, everyone's like, hey, why are you upset? Like, Bitcoin's there. I'm like, do you know what a weekly super trend flipping red on Bitcoin means? It means extend your bear market. Best case 6 months. Best. And if Bitcoin's in a bear market, God help the altcoins, right? And luckily, the Japanese Pokemon Island was resurrected out from the ashes. We went to the Poker Center and we healed up. Now, baby dolls, of course, Ethereum is still in dog poop land. And I might show you some news later on. Vitalik has actually dumped 1,300 ETH again after saying he won't. Naughty, naughty Vitalik. What are you doing, me lord? What are you doing, me lord? You know, one of those like old movies, friends, when the king comes out, he just abuse all his slaves and they're just so begotten. They're so like beaten down. Oh, me lord, me lord. Oh, well, I guess that's what it is, friends. Psychologically, we have to go through this zone. And I mean, hopefully, I just draw this. This is just a random squiggly line, but I drew a squiggly line like that because I'm like, oh, okay, I've seen this before. The worst down periods of all time, they are met with the biggest up periods of all time. Now, of course, we are in this quiet period, friends. Where we actually are, if you want to know exactly where we are, because I have deja vu, I know exactly where we are, right? We are at this period here 4 years ago, September. Okay, so in this September, friends, Arthur Hayes' office, BitMEX, got raided. It got raided there. And here, there was a CME gap down here at 9,600, okay? And every single CME gap had been filled, but this one hadn't. But here's the thing. On this CME gap, I noticed something. So I was just on Reddit. I was browsing around. I didn't know about Twitter, friends. I was on Twitter. I was watching a few people on YouTube. It was very hard to find information. I wish there was someone like me out there, right? That I could watch over time back then. And I noticed every single person was talking about the CME gap. I'm like, oh, I know. This is weird. That CME gap's probably not going to close. Every single person is talking about it. And guess what? It never closed. Still to this day. You want to know what's interesting, friends? If you go back, there's a post by me on Reddit, still exists today. I'm the only person in the world who said this, okay? And it was actually fascinating. Okay, I promise you. When Bitcoin went above $9,000 for the last time here, all right, up here, I made a Twitter post and I put the Vegeta meme and I go, congratulations. I basically said, this was the last time Bitcoin is ever going to be below 9,000 again. And I said, the reason is because I have watched it happen 4 times before, and in every single time, everybody posted the Vegeta meme of like, it's over 9,000. That Vegeta meme from Dragon Ball Z. And that was the first time. On the 5th time, they had not posted. Nobody had posted it. No one was even saying it. You want to know what's funny, friends? During this time period, Michael Saylor was actually buying his first Bitcoin as well. Not that anybody knew him back then. So it was kind of me just testing my theory. Just made this post out here. And still to today, it never went below 9,000 ever again. And if you check the comments, everyone was in disbelief. They go, oh, no, not a one of these. Don't say it, don't say it. You know what I mean? Because I was the only person saying it. It was actually funny to see that's still holding up today. Now, that period where we are right now, that's exactly where we are, okay? We're just, everybody's so despondent. And then, yeah, so like, hey, that's nice. It just goes up only from here. Yeah, but, I mean, we don't have to get it. I hope we do get it. I hope it literally just goes, whee, and then something like that happens. Maybe something like that. Who knows? You got to remember, we had a double top before. That's going to suck. But also, you got to remember, friends, this double top, I'll be honest, I don't think it's going to happen like that. This double top was man-made. This was from China, the scum evil China government. Okay, they banned Bitcoin right at the top. So all the insider Chinese scum like F2 Pool, all these other Bitcoin miners, these thieves, they were all dumping hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin on everyone up here, and then they banned it. And then pretty much everybody got destroyed. Altcoins were down 70% by the end of May. I'm not even joking. They were all down 70% in 1 month. See you later. So it was going to pop it eventually as well. But you also had, you have FTX, Soy Bankman-Fried, and you had China. It was just a very, very heavy supply. So I'm feeling what might happen more is, obviously not this distance, but the 2016, where it runs up and everyone just thinks it's over. but it just keeps running up like that and just makes these little floors. And then it's probably going to be like 4 or 5 times we all think it's like really, really, really over. And then finally it has this pop-up. Now, I hope we're going to get graced with like, Coinbase App Store ranking #1, but we'll see. Also, friends, I want to, before I even like go into the stock market stuff, like, don't worry about, everyone knows about the stock market and Sommi, whatever everyone sells with you. Friends, do you understand Metcalfe's law and how crypto works? If you're in PulseChain, there's 200,000 people right now. For us to get to a 25x higher, we need to add from 200,000 people, you need a 5x it. So 200,000 people, you have to add 800,000 to 1 million people. You literally drowned out 5 to 1 by your voice. It was like, poof, you're in the old age. You were talking about this stuff when it was going down. We're in the new age. You don't get what's going on. That's what they all talk about. They talk about it like in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, in everything. That's why these people, you get drowned out, man. I mean, like, you're a byproduct of that media and that attention in 2020, 2021. Everybody, friends, all the insiders, there's a lot of Ethereum insiders, advisors, just heaps of insiders were dumping the crap out of DeFi tokens and all those projects back in 2021. And what do you think they were telling their friends and family to sell as well? But they weren't saying like, altcoins are the future. No, they weren't telling their friends and family that. They're just saying, all the retards are here, okay? But you don't think that. You just think, who are you, guy? You're from the, you're just a nobody. We're the new blood, okay? It happens. But why does it happen? It's because the price went up so much. People have that much dopamine and confidence to actually talk like that. Right now, you wouldn't dare talk like that to someone, right? No, but if I made your portfolio literally go up by a 25x, so if you have 100K in your portfolio now, if I put your number at 2.5 million, right, the build up to there, you're going to feel like literally you're on top of the world. Now, baby dolls, getting to some great juicy news. So obviously, the stock market closing through a new all-time high is extremely important. It's like the most pivotal of all things. And it's kind of funny. We're just like, we just need this ticker line to go up. Yes, it's true, friends. This is the global liquidity index. As you can see, man, it keeps ticking up. It keeps ticking up. They're ready, man. They're ready. They're ready to pump it and try to give Kamala Harris to win. Tether market cap is still going up. They're still printing, as you can see it right now. So they're ready, friends. You know that, man. You know that they know. They know there's a 90% chance of winning if they make the stocks pump up 90 days into the election. So we'll see what happens from there. Now, a lot of people, they're worried about, is the economy going to crack and stuff? Well, look, it could, but the yield curve, the real yield curve hasn't uninverted yet, friends. It hasn't uninverted. When can it? Look how long. This is the longest uninversion of all time. This was 549 days. And look at this. It had a fake out here. 667 days. I mean, look at this. If this starts a 600-day one as well, we're actually around it right now. So it is the longest period in history of the uninversion. So, I mean, like, we'll see how fast the economy cracks. But I've got to warn you as well, don't just be quick to sell, because the market, it doesn't like uncertainty. But all of this cracking of the economy, it's man-made. They just know they're going to change the rates. They just know they're going to print money again, okay? The shocking one would be like, a black swan type of thing, like some explosion, but hopefully it doesn't happen. We'll see. Now, who's going to steal the limelight from everyone from here? It's Mr. Russell. Our friend, Mr. Russell, friends. Look at this. Major friendship alert, okay? All these warning signs. The Russell 2000, friends, is right near the all-time swing high for 2024 and then all-time high. Look at this. It's really, really, really close. So this is amazing. If the Russell 2000 can expand up here, we're getting closer to the final moment, friends. It has to break 244. See this all-time high? It's getting there. It's getting there. It has to go and break it, man. So it's going to come up here. It's going to tease us and do something. And then finally, it's good to go. Finally, as soon as the Russell 2000 does that, all the liquidity buckets in the world of stocks are filled. If the Russell, that's obviously the stock market, the profitable companies in the world, which is in the US, okay? The Dow, the Nasdaq, and everything, it's finally broken its all-time high from years and years ago. Now, stock market, S&P, and Nasdaq, they've done it a long time ago, but the Russell 2000 has been lagging because it's US small cap shitcoins. And I don't think, this is a funny part, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that the Russell 2000 in this cycle has been the laggard, and it's the US small cap shitcoins, and our small cap shitcoins, which is the others index, has also been the laggard. It's also been slow. Interesting, isn't it, friends? Isn't it interesting that it's been a proxy? In the previous cycles, the Russell wasn't lagging. In the previous cycles, I think one of them was the Dow. The Dow was lagging once, and I forgot, maybe it was the Nasdaq, another one, I forgot what it was. Maybe it was the Dow twice. Interesting. When you think about it like that, you go, wow, the US small cap shitcoins have been going bad. They're the last ones to go. Same as our altcoins. Is there a reason for that? I don't know. Like, this is why I'm telling you, friends. I look at ratios and I compare all these. I'm trying to figure out, hey, are there commonalities with the market? You go and ask somebody buying some small cap biotech shitcoin in America. They got no idea about crypto altcoins. Go ask the average crypto altcoiner at like the token 2049 Singapore event. They got no idea what they don't even know what Russell 2000 is. They go, oh, Russell Peters? I like that comedian. That's all they know. They don't know anything about it, right? So it's fascinating though how the wisdom of the crowd still turns out to be correct. That's why, friends, I use, say, PulseChain ratios and ETH BTC. I use these ratios because there is a wisdom of the crowd in the market of the pricing of these. And you can actually get a lot of information if you know what to do, of course. Now, a throwback here. This is Vitalik getting a girlfriend, and this is the ETH BTC ratio. And it went down, just goes down only as soon as he gets a girlfriend. Ethereum must revive. But I want you to know that Ethereum, it's not just like a leader. It's a reflection of the confidence. So it's a reflection of Wall Street types now stepping outside of Bitcoin to enter our world. Okay, so if Ethereum's up at 4, 5, 6K, it's a reflection that big Wall Street guys, you know, hundreds of millions of dollars of funds, they've got like $50 million sub funds and $10 million funds and family offices with $5 million or whatever they're managing, and then they're in at that point. You see, so that's how you conceptualize it. But right now, because it's so poop, as you like can witness right now, it is so poop. It explains a lot of the downside stuff. So that's why I'm not worried about any coin going down whatsoever, because I'm like, well, if Vitalik is getting pummeled, nobody has a chance. You know what I mean? And friends, ETH BTC, I mean, you want to talk about this, friends, this does keep me up at night. It actually scares me that ETH BTC, friends, I mean, bro, you are down 75% after 8 years. What hope do any other coins have, man? We'll see. Now, moving on to some altcoins, baby dolls. I've got some juicy information for you. I mean, just talk about leverage and all these. Remember, it's not leverage as in borrowing someone else's money. It's slingshot leverage. But they call it higher beta, but I don't like saying that word. Like, oh, get the higher beta, because all these nerd university stuff. No one knows what the hell the beta is, bro. You know what I mean? Slingshot leverage. I made that. That's better. In crypto, we're cooler. See, friends, we got the coolest pirate island in the world. Everybody out here stuck in normie land, the beta in the capital asset pricing model, and blah, 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 but shut up. Shut up. Can it go 7x in a month or not? Oh, it can't? Okay. Move aside. I'm going to touch something that can. Icosa ICSA plus 25%. Remember, friends, not financial advice, but just so you need informational edge, right? You do need informational edge. You have Richard Hart core coins, okay? You have Pulse, the Spear. You have the Hex, EX, PX, Inc. Consider them like one, okay? One ball, one core. The first step out of them is the Richard Hart only approved coin. He did a note of approval. He bonded liquidity from the OA. The OA has only ever acted for one coin, friends. Icosa. It was a Hedron, okay? Hedron Icosa. So Alex's stuff. Because it ticked all the boxes. The founder doesn't get enriched. It's fair, honest distribution and stuff. And yes, it's slingshot leverage on Hex. So you can see when Hex does like, a 5, 10, 15, 20, this thing starts shooting up more. So they're all spiritually and financially bonded. Also, shout out to Mr. Silver, the antidote, right? So Hedron and Icosa will really pick up well when the large shark T-shares start to drop off and cannot overpower the vision. So it's talking about, remember, Hedron, you get it minted because of the shares and stuff. But a lot of this stuff, like, just think about this, dude. We're all here and still 95% of people don't even know how it works. So what hope do people who all they know is pump fun, altcoins, JPEG swapping, meme coins and stuff, what hope do they have of even learning this? They're just like, whoa, it's a many-sided triangle hexagon thing and it goes up. That's all they need to see. Now, if we go to gopulse.com, friends, you have a nice return for the past 30 days, 7 days, whatever. But I like looking at Pulse Coin List because it has the eHex here as well. Look at this, eHex is up in the past month. eHex is up 90% and 50%. The greenest logo ink is here. Pulse and PulseX are here. As you got to see by now, friends, they take turns, but there's no one that runs just all the way by itself. It stops and it adjusts, and there's a lot of bonding and stuff going on. So you don't have to stress yourself out. You just got to be long on crypto at the end of the day. Also, nice news as well. The PulseX buy and burn ticked up to 4.89% of user supply, which is a non-origin address. So we just say users. I'll say user supply just to make it easier. easier to type and stuff. So that's going to be working even more overdrive in the background, especially when crypto heats up. There's more people throwing stuff around, trading things around. Everyone's just spamming memes and stuff. And it's probably going to take the lead from whatever's in, like, you know, fashion of the time, whatever the narrative is out there. Maybe Ethereum, whatever, whoever the hell is leading, okay? Unless maybe we get to the very, very end, Richard rotates 170,000 ETH in or some part of it, and then we are the old season now. That'd be funny. Because that's what you get. That's what you're playing for, friends. You're playing for you to become the narrative. What does you becoming the narrative means? It means literally other mainstream channels, they have to cover you just because you're moving. And because they're covering you, they attract non-believers. And these people misallocate capital. The first round of them, they don't misallocate capital. They play momentum. The second round of them, half of them misallocate capital, but they keep rolling over each other. They just keep doing it until the season's done. And then the final misallocation, what does that mean? Just euphoria. That's what it is. Euphoria means I'm buying just because I'm feel good. You know, maybe some people are like, hey, I only buy things minus 50% down from the high or better or more. That's what I hold stuff usually. But they're buying stuff that's like plus 7x above the high, and they're trying to make another 2 or 3x. The types of people there, yeah, there is someone who's going to get a 2x and stuff like that. But on average, the people participating there, they misallocate capital and they're weak hands. So when things start to turn down, they just start hitting others, start copping losses, and they roll over each other, okay? I want to share for you this hurtful story, friends. I mentioned to you, just please remember this 90% call, 10% lottery. Look at this guy said, Coinfessions Rekt. I just lost 20K trading memes that I really couldn't afford to lose. That was all my money I had ever saved up. I am now in debt, jobless and depressed, and I'm not coping very well. I feel like an absolute failure. It took me years to save that 20K and days to lose it. So here I'm just saying, man, get into PulseChain, not JPEG swapping Cabal coin scams. That's pretty much what you're doing. We need to say, friends, when they're saying, I was trading meme coins, okay, they look at this, Mr. Fata, this is actually funny. Is the lottery just a fancy way to gamble? Yes, but it's all gambling. It's all speculation. Everything's speculation, right? Like when you buy a company, you don't know they're going to be around in like 3 years. Yeah, you don't know that. But when I use the word lottery, like, hey, you are gambling. So maybe don't put 20K of your life savings in. Maybe diversify into calls. That's the whole point of it. You'll also find with all these stories, friends, when people like lose, they are in Cabal coins. They're in JPEG swapping. There's evil thieves, like there's 21-year-old Scum who should literally just put them in jail for life to rot. Okay, there are people out here making a living, scamming people on this pump fund, Solana, JPEG. They're literally just rugging, making thousands of dollars a day rugging. Trust me, that pie is going to get lower and lower over time. It's going to get harder and harder to do it because they've ran out of money. That you've already exhausted enough of the suckers out here, and people are going to move on to something else. So how can you avoid this? Well, you can't like change the outcome, but you can avoid your risk levels put in. That's why 90% call, 10% lottery. But then again, man, people might say, well, your price will still go down as well. Yeah. So you invest with the community and not some code. You invest in a community, not just a JPEG. Doing JPEG swapping, what are they actually doing, man? They're just gambling. And unfortunately, you're playing a losing game with worse odds than a slot machine. I mean, there's a world of difference there between this, friends, I guarantee you, this guy was joining, he believed all the words in these Cabal telegrams and stuff. People say, oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And they're dumping and they move on to something else, which literally in 72 hours. The average liquidity duration for a pump fund coin is 4 days. Literally 4 days, and it's all rugged. That's a lifespan. You want to deal with stuff with 4-day attention spans, man? How about 4 years, which is a whole cycle? How about that? They can't think like that because, friends, these people can't even hold. They can't hold, so they're never going to even get there. But they'll learn the hard way. They'll learn when you've all made it, we've all made it, everyone's actually crushed it, and they get to learn the hard way, and then they have to enjoy 2028 cycle. I posted this for fun. Bad conversation starter. Hex 1 cent. Good conversation starter. Hex $1. As you can see, friends, it's these low round number things. They're really good because they work. And by the way, talk to people about 16 cents and 8 cents and 25 cents. I've already done all that bear market stuff and fib retracements and all these theoreticals and the ranges up here. I've gone through like hours and hours and hours of that. Maybe there's like, you remember, but the new people coming in, friends, they're the ones actually going to move the price because you're already in. They didn't give a shit, okay? They didn't give a shit. I'll tell you right now, I can literally make an 8-hour video about Hex going to like 26.25 cents because of this market cap and that fib, blah, 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 but no one gives a shit. I say, Hex to $1. Now everyone starts to dream, right? Oh, Hex to $2, Hex to $10. But these round numbers are very effective. Like Bitcoin 100K. Bitcoin 100K. You know 100K, friends, it's so priced in now into Bitcoin, no one talks about 100K. Now they're talking about 1 million. Have you noticed that? The lower end is 250K. The higher end is 1 million. You see? That's just the game. This game of speculation. Once you've got 1,000 people in your group, now you have 10,000 people. They're speculating about, okay, how much are we going to be having fun when there's 50,000 people here, or 100,000 people, or 1 million people here? You see? They just keep moving it up. And then when they have 1 million people, they're talking about 10 million people. Bitcoin has 320 million people in there. They're basically, with the prices, they're talking about what's it going to look like when they have 1 billion. You see? Whereas PulseChain only has 200,000 people, and I'm saying, hey, we're going to have 25x higher price when we have 1 million people. You see? Everyone is always trying to climb the ladder. Now, for PulseChain, friends, I'm going to play some nice Cranky G music. The guy in that, the voice here, he says bizarre objects in the universe. It's a UFO song. That's pretty cool. So this is Richard Hart with the PulseChain logo. So what's going to happen next? Recently, friends, we saw, like, you know, Sota releases a video, and I'll find my summary here for you. I made a review of the video and stuff, but this is pretty much a summary of it when we just go through it right now. It's not going to take long, friends. So that was pretty much it. Just snakes everywhere. But look, man. I mean, like, there's a lot of on-chain stuff, friends. Like, a lot of people, I know it's like really, really important right now. I know it is. But I'm just, friends, I'm already yawning. I'm like, oh, look, bro, I know yous. I know humans better than you know yourselves. Do you understand how little of a shit you are all going to be thinking about this in about literally 30 hours from now? Literally by next week. I'm not even kidding. I'm not exaggerating. People move on to this. The cycle of news is ridiculous, man. I really understand now the news cycle. Friends, you know, news presenters, when they're covering a story, they don't give you all the information on day one, even though they have them, okay? Because the story dies out and they know it. They don't give you all the information. They drip it out to you. They give you like a piece for like 4 days in a row, so you keep watching and you keep getting covered. They do stuff like that. And when I used to hear it, I'm like, oh, that's the dumbest idea ever. I'll be bored of it. No, you won't. Because I've actually seen it happen when everyone just when they just dump information out here. People can't actually learn too many things, friends. You can't. That's why all my videos, I don't have 2 to 3 hour videos. I don't have 1 hour videos. The 1 hour videos, friends, that I get close to, they're the UFO ones. And they're just so interesting. Like each minute in there, I put my blood, sweat, and tears in there. I love every single one of them. But for crypto, everything's like, 10 to 20 minutes-ish. Only the juicy news covers everything, okay? But you see, for the most part, we can't even learn that much. So it's interesting how we all learn. And it appears that way when it comes to mindshare and coins and everything out here. So yeah, you might say, hey, what happens when there's too many coins? Well, you have the power law effect of pretty much everyone's going to the ones that they remember the most. That's why everyone's trying to yell at each other to try to maintain relevance. But what's going to happen next, right? In about 3 weekly candles, everyone's going to move on to the Richard Hart court date narrative, friends. PulseChain community most likely follow on the legal content alongside the price. Richard Hart has 11 lawyers. The important date is October 24. Shout out to Frankie Molina. If I can find my post here before, he basically went through Richard Hart. I think one of his lawyers, some guy, I forgot his name. He basically, I think he did some reading or something against a corrupt SEC. And Frank was very impressed because this guy's like really smart. It's like he really is. Probably sounds like an America-wide top tier law firm representative. So they really, really know their stuff. They're top tier, and yeah, he's very, very confident. But it's good to hear it. But also, I don't blame him, man. Look, you know what I heard about the court date stuff a year ago or whatever? I was like, bro, I did not sign up to now become XRP 2.0 community where we freaking follow law stuff. Luckily, we got someone named, like, friends, Nuclear Herbs, okay? His username alone has kept me reading law stuff. I've read more law stuff than I never thought I'd read more than a sentence of law stuff, but I read all of Nuki's posts because he goes through stuff. He just shows you the ambiguity of the legal system and how everything's all done. And it's like, it really is, friends. Legal system is like the opposite of crypto. We're bleeding edge, head first. No, it says act first, think later. No. With crypto, is literally just act, Don't even think. Just like run straight into the wall. That's us. And then legal is like, well, there's sentences and there's commas. You got to put a dot here. You don't miss the dot. There's a capital letter. What's going on here? And ultimately, friends, even without the corrupt SEC thing, I'll be honest. I know a lot of friends. You got to be honest. Look, a lot of people get really pissed off when I say this, and I always say, even other influencers, they start commenting whenever I say this every single time. It pisses them off, and I say, remove the corrupt SEC, we'd have the same price, and everyone loses their mind. Yeah, man. I saw it with XRP. I mean, I got to show you the proof again. If you saw XRP, I know the prices. They beat the SEC. It did a 2x, and then it dropped 50%. It went from 50 cents to $1, comes back down, does 50 cents. Okay, so it dropped that. That was 2023 when they beat the SEC. Then they beat the SEC again. It popped up again, and then it retraced again. Friends, the crypto is global. All right, but look. I know when we look at it, people get pissed off. Why? Because they think now that these guys are in our throat, our potential is bigger now. No. I'm telling you, there are different variables at play to give a crypto value. This community, there are different variables like product market fit. Like, for example, luck and chance. Was PulseChain unlucky? Yeah. You want to know how? Richard Hart forked Ethereum and not Solana. Some people will say, hey, Ethereum's shitty tech now. You should have done this. You should see what I mean? But now it's up to you to say, hey, is this a seasonal type of flying diarrhea poop raining on us, or is it permanent? Okay, so obviously we're all here because we think it's seasonal. And that's why I've showed you, friends, I spent hours and hours and hours of all my content videos the past 6 months telling you in a Bitcoin halving year, the concept is important, but the big Solana and the big thing that goes up, they are underperformers in the year after. And if you do a portfolio review in the Bitcoin halving year, 2012, 2016, 2020, you do a portfolio review, you will have sold all the things at the bottom and you would have bought dog shit at the top, which underperformed, and you would have missed out on everything that just spiked up huge every single cycle. Do you think this time is going to be different? I ask you. And right now, friends, PulseChain is doing more on-chain volume than Phantom and Cardano. Friends, Phantom is doing like 14 million and we're doing like 15 million. Phantom is 3x higher in price valuation on just their core coin for FTM, okay? So, but PulseChain's undervalued by 20x. It's flipping Cardano, man. And yes, soy boys stay out. And here in this video, what I basically do is I explain, when you see the volume as well, there's arbitrage bots. So the arbitrage bots, so let's say Ethereum's price moves by $10 on Binance. The arbitrage bots, they're short there, and as soon as they get filled, they go and buy an ETH on like the Binance on BNB chain, their ETH liquidity link, or they go buy it on Bybit exchange, and they go buy the ETH on arbitrage layer 2, and they buy the ETH everywhere. You see, and it does the volume everywhere, so everything's doing volume together. They say that they do this with every other altcoin, right? But PulseChain's not listed everywhere. It's only listed on MEXC. So there's no arbitrage for them to do them. So once that starts happening, you'll see a lot of these players, they're basically doing just it's scum, paper hand, trash, fake GDP things. Like, and the example I use is, if you're going to go buy a bottle of milk, you're a mother, you have a child, you go buy a bottle of milk, you go to the front cash register, and it's costing you $3, and then someone appears, this is an MEV scum bot, this is what these algos are, these scum, MEV, trash, subhuman filth. Not like the Euphoria benevolent ones, which are great, amazing, by the way, thank you, Maria, but the other trash ones, okay? So you're going to buy it for $3, this bottle of milk, someone comes up with a gun, points it to your head, and they say, I've got your milk now, which is your coin, and they go, you're going to have to give me $3.01 for it back. Okay, that's what ends up happening. So they end up giving that person $3.01, and then that MEV gives it to the cash register and gives them the $3. Okay, so that's what ends up happening. So they pocket a cent out here. But what ends up happening is, look at this, like the MEV, because they're sitting in there uselessly as scum, they did more volume. They did an extra $3.01 transaction here. Do you see that? They inserted themselves in there, and they bought, and they end up selling it back. You see? So more volume gets done here, but what's actually happening is just the mother went to go buy milk. But we went from like one transaction, now there's two. See, they doubled it up. So that's what all these MEV bots are doing everywhere, and that's why they're all trash. But you need them to arbitrage prices. Otherwise, people could be buying a $2,000 ETH on one chain and $4,000 ETH on the other. But actually what you'll find, friends, is people do manual arbitrage themselves. But these things, they're not as helpful as you think. They're all scum. You can see them on chain. They arbitrage everything out. And then on all the chains, they dump into USDC, they send it to Coinbase, and they take it out of crypto altogether. So it's all these insider, like all these Jane Street, all these other cucks. That was Jane Street's where Soy Bankman-Fried worked that first time. All these like literally subhuman filth trash. They shouldn't even be in here. They're from Wall Street. All these other scum. I hate them so much. Man. They ruin everything, but they're an evil that's always going to be there. So that's why we don't play their game right. If you're playing short-term trading, you're against trash like that. And yes, they dump $100 million in to try and make $105 million by the end of a quarter. Okay, that's a big return, by the way. That's 5% per quarter, so 20% per year. You see what I mean? They're happy to take pennies on stuff. So that's why you don't want to play in that game. You want to play in a blue ocean game, not a red ocean game. Now, baby dolls, I want to end with this. This is important because this shocked me. All right, this is macro data, okay? Because I want you to know, like, you know, what's the theme going on? Okay, the theme, as you just to remind you, friends, the most important data or data, depending if you have a pants on or not, is the unemployment from now on. Okay, Jay Powell said it. I know it. I can feel it in my bones. I actually told this to you about a month or two ago. I go, ignore the kippy. And as you notice, friends, the kippy has not been a real indicator. It's not making crypto move much anymore. Same as the stocks, because it's all in line. You see, so the big shock's already done. So now what's going to happen is now unemployment. Now, unemployment, as you know, is a lagging indicator. Okay, yeah, it is lagging. However, it's an extremely important indicator, even though it's lagging. It's because once companies finally let go of an employee, they don't go and hire them back in a month or 2 or 3, right? Because they calculate, they're like, man, okay, I'm going to get rid of this guy. He's meant to be making me this much money, but he used to make me 500 grand a year. Now he only makes me 200 grand a year. I'm just going to let go of him, okay? Because it's not worth it, you see? Because I got to pay the guy 200. And that's what ends up happening. So once all these employees start getting fired, it takes a lot in the economy to reverse it up. That's why that takes 6 to 12 months for everything to calm down and whatever. That's why if it cracks hard, market's not going to like it. It's going to have some jitters. They're going to need some rate cuts and stuff to just basically... That's why if the market tanks, that's what the US Fed doesn't want. The US Fed doesn't want employees to be kicked out from employers, from business owners who are spooked, who are really bearish. Because once that fear is in, friends, everyone just starts paper handing out. They just capitulate. They capitulate on the workers, and that's where you have the unemployment rate, you have the super lines and everything, and then so begins the cycle again. But are we going to get that point? Look, of course it's always possible. Look at this. US debt levels for households and organizations is actually at healthy levels, friends. Look at this. It's actually at healthy levels. So this is households and non-profit organizations. Their total liabilities, transactions divided by nominal potential GDP. So in the GFC lead up, the last big major recession, which is like man-made from like, you know, people doing the wrong mathematics. That's what the GFC was, friends, by the way, friends. It was people did the wrong mathematics. They assumed all these events of houses going, you know, basically going belly up and people can't pay their mortgage. They assumed them to be independent probabilities. So they assumed, okay, you've got a 1% chance and you've got a 1% chance and you've got a 1% chance. We're all sweet, okay? But what they end up finding out is the hard way that when like a certain number of people have now defaulted, the probabilities of the others happening spikes up hard. You see? So it's not like, you know, there's 100 people in the room and, oh, 1 out of 100 are going to go default. No, in the event that like 5 default, it increases the probability that the next 20 are going to default, like by a big shot, and everything pretty much gets wiped. That's the exponential destruction that happens, okay? But right now, look where we are. We're actually at healthy levels. We're at healthy levels right here. So this is the percentage. We're at like 2-3%, and up here, dangerous is like 10%. So where we are right now, it doesn't mean nothing bad's going to happen in a macro economy whatsoever. Of course, because anything can happen. But it's just showing you that there's nothing going on in terms of a big amount of debt for companies and people that could have a risk if we haven't done the maths right. There's nothing out there like that, okay? You could say it's a bit high or whatever, but there's nothing out there like that. The one that is the big problem is the US debt. The US debt's the big problem. But they got the UFO tech. US has big advantages around there. And I really am serious about that, friends. So is there going to be a case where countries just decide to go, you know what, US, we don't want your currency? Maybe, but here's the thing. What are you going to use? I know they're all dog shit. I mean, you want to hold the USD stablecoin in crypto. So it's just basically, if something's going to crack, it's going to be man-made. If at this point, unless something totally left field comes. But once again, we go back to your friend Sommi videos from many, many months ago. I told you, well, the last big crack was the 2020 zombie virus. And if you look back in history, black swans like that, they don't come in pairs or threes. They don't happen within the same 8 to 10 year period. They don't. It cracks. And then it seems like, this is what my theories are, what I've been seeing is, what I've gathered. Once a big crack happens like that, it makes people fundamentally rethink their next 10 years because they remember too much. You know, friends, in the Great Depression, because of the soup lines, the Great Depression, so it was the silent, I think the silent generation, that's what they call them, people born in the Great Depression. They had like the highest saving rate, like for their whole life. They were like the most frugal, highest saving rate. It in fact impacted them for the next 50 years of their lives because they never, ever, ever want to see that 30% unemployment rate ever again. They wouldn't overspend. It was only their children, the baby boomers, who went on to become leverage and like Miami and cocaine buildings and everything out here. So that's what ends up happening, right? Their kids end up having to do that. But that's Great Depression, right? You see that? So are we witnessing something like that? Maybe. This zombie virus, man, like, I know, friends, every single day you're waking up, I'm waking up. I'm like, man, do you remember that day it all just dropped 50% in a freaking day and it was just all over, just shut everything off. It makes you make decisions just a bit better to hopefully avoid the black swan until maybe the next decade. But I guess we'll find out, right? Make sure you like, subscribe, bit about it and all. Catch you in the next one.